If you can unfuck your mind, you will literally print money. And if you have not unfucked your mind, you're going to inevitably leave money on the table. No amount of hard work or knowledge or tactics will ever help you reach your desired income if your mind is constantly stopping you from getting there. This is why you can spend months or years putting all the work in but still never see a change. We cannot solve our problems with the same level of thinking we used when we created them. But if you can transcend to a higher level of thought, the money you want will come to you automatically. So today I'm going to show you exactly how to fix your mind so that making money is easy for you. Here's why you should even listen to me. I made multi six figures at 18 years old. I've got a YouTube channel with over 2 million subscribers. I've spent 10,000 hours studying money and psychology, which makes me an expert. And I've been coached directly by some of the biggest entrepreneurs on the internet, including Nero Knowledge, William Brown, and Charlie Morgan. The first thing you have to understand is that your conscious mind is not enough. Most people are only working with their conscious minds, and this is where your day-to-day thoughts, actions, and decisions are made. This is where you try to force more money by consuming knowledge and trying new strategies. But when you do this, you're working against something a million times more powerful. The subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is where all of your integral emotions, beliefs, and habits lie. And by the time information reaches your conscious mind, a million different things have already happened in your subconscious mind. If you're walking through a field and you see a snake, consciously, you're going to run away. But this is only because of everything that just happened in your subconscious mind within milliseconds. It's recalled every experience you've ever had with snakes. It's associated the snake with danger. It's pumped adrenaline through you, and it's screaming at you to run. If none of these triggers surfaced in your subconscious mind, you might not even react to the snake. If you saw a twig, you wouldn't care, but that's because you have no negative associations with twigs. But if something earlier in life taught your subconscious mind that twigs are dangerous, every time you saw a twig, you'd react the way that most people react to snakes. The point is that by the time you make a conscious decision, it's actually a result of whatever response is elicited in your subconscious mind completely outside of your awareness. Even though it feels like you are consciously making most of your decisions, it's really a result of the thoughts that come up because of whatever's going on in your subconscious mind. Your subconscious works in milliseconds. It has to. Otherwise, you'd be overwhelmed by the millions of stimuli every single second of the day. Even in something as simple as social interactions. If somebody says something that upsets you, but you decide, I'm not going to react, it doesn't matter. You already have. It might be a facial expression or a subtle hand movement, but it will be completely involuntary. And as subtle and minuscule as it might seem, it's going to create your reality. Everybody's subconscious mind is this powerful, which is why even these extremely micro expressions will be picked up by the other person, even if they don't even realize it either. Because, you might blink a certain way, and even though you don't notice it, and the other person doesn't notice it, both of your subconscious minds are acutely aware of it. This is why it's said that your first impression of people is the most important, because even though you're not consciously saying, I like this person or I don't like this person, in reality, your subconscious is scanning everything about them so that just in a quick flash, just like that, you subconsciously have decided whether or not you like this person. And you might not like them. You might not even know why. It's just because something about their subconscious energy does not align with yours. And if someone's subconscious mind has a negative association with money, you will make decisions from that same state of survival and fear as someone who's running from a snake. Even though you consciously think you're taking action towards your goal, in reality, all you're doing is trying to survive. And the problem with this is that when you're in a state of survival, you literally cannot think straight. You can't make logical decisions, and you cannot make money as efficiently as you'd like. So if you plan to start making the money you truly want, you have to remove your negative subconscious associations that you have with money. But how do I know if I even have negative subconscious associations with money? You do. If you didn't, you would not be watching this video. This is how the subconscious mind plays tricks on us. We have beliefs that we don't even know are there. So How do you figure out which subconscious beliefs are holding you back? Well, ask yourself, what thoughts regularly go through my mind about money? Could it be making money is hard, or I'm not making enough money, or once I'm making more money, then I'll be happy? Whatever beliefs you have about money are shaping your life. If someone has the belief making money is hard, that's the only reason that making money is hard for them. It's not because making money is actually hard. It's just because they believe it is. So they make it hard on themselves. When you have a subconscious belief, it shapes everything in your experience. Your subconscious mind, all it wants to do is prove you right. So if you think that making money is hard, it will make sure that the only way you can make money is if it's difficult for you. While you might think the world is making it difficult for you, in reality, you're making it difficult for yourself. Imagine somebody has the belief nobody takes me seriously, and he goes into a meeting one day where his boss is asking for new ideas, and he has this amazing idea and he knows how good it is. But when it's time to finally say something, he's nervous. And he's stuttering the whole time, and he can't even get the words out of his mouth. And when he looks around the room, he's just afraid that everyone is judging him. And after about a minute of silence, his boss just asks him to sit down. All because he went in with this assumption that nobody's going to take him seriously. And no one actually did take him seriously, but that's only because he behaved in a way that they didn't take him seriously because he believed they wouldn't take him seriously. And then 5 minutes go by, someone else with the exact same idea brings it up, and his boss loves it. He gets a promotion, a pay raise, and the original guy gets absolutely nothing. Not only is he disappointed now, but his belief nobody takes me seriously is reinforced even more. Because as far as he's concerned, he's just got one more piece of evidence to prove it to him. In his head, he's telling himself, I knew they wouldn't take me seriously, or this always happens to me, and he'll be blaming the external circumstances over his own perception. Your subconscious beliefs are a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you want to create a different reality for yourself, you need to stop trying to change reality and instead change your subconscious beliefs. When you do this, your reality changes automatically. The guy who went up after him, he probably has a belief more like, everybody takes me seriously. I have amazing ideas. And because of this, he doesn't even think twice. It was just second nature for him to stand up and share the first thing that came to his head. He didn't have to motivate himself, and he didn't get nervous. He was just naturally driven to do it because he had no subconscious impediments that were telling him, no, you shouldn't be doing this. Sit down, no one's going to take you seriously. And this is where you want to get with your beliefs about money. Your subconscious beliefs should be so aligned with your desired income that the right thoughts and actions just come to you automatically. No matter how much you try and make yourself take different actions, you will always attract results that represent the state of your subconscious mind. So now we're going to talk about the subconscious addiction to struggle. And I know it sounds crazy to think that you can be addicted to struggling, but just think about the fact that people are addicted to things that literally kill you, like cigarettes and drugs. This is a really tough pill to swallow, but it's very important to be aware of. One of the worst traps that we can be in is when we consciously want something, but our subconscious mind wants something else. Here's an example. It is very common to grow up in a household where hard work and sacrifice are constant themes. You know, you have parents working 12-hour days and they're always stressed out. They're always exhausted. So they say things to their kids like, I'm doing this for you, and I work this hard because I love you. Consciously, yeah, this sounds very noble, and absolutely, these parents have good intentions, but your subconscious mind does not process semantics. It absorbs patterns. So in this case, when a parent keeps saying things like this to their kid, the kid's just going to learn love requires sacrifice, and success requires exhaustion, or making money requires suffering. So without realizing, their nervous system becomes wired to believe that struggle equals success. Now here's where it gets really dangerous. If somebody's mind is programmed this way, it will not allow success to be easy for them. If they make $20K in a month without breaking their ass, it's going to feel wrong or undeserved because they didn't satiate the subconscious mind's belief that success requires struggle. So if that ease starts to show up in their business, The subconscious is going to overcomplicate simple tasks or make them feel guilty about making a profit, driving them to self-sabotage everything they've earned without even knowing why. And it's not because they're stupid. It's because their identity equates struggle with home. So if that struggle isn't there, it feels unsafe and it tries to bring them back to make sure that they're struggling again. Now, you in particular might not have this exact situation, but the point is that there's some distorted perception your subconscious mind has on success or money that's keeping you in whatever perpetual loop that you're stuck in. Until you can make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you'll call it fate. You might consciously want success, but if you have negative associations with success, like struggle or pain, then you're always going to struggle and feel pain when you're trying to achieve it. There's this really vicious cycle where beliefs create your environment and your environment creates your beliefs. On the surface, it seems like your environment is the cause of your circumstances, right? And this is why most of us focus on the external world to feel happy. And once again, we think, when I have this thing, then I'll be happy, right? When I'm making this amount of money per month, then I'll be happy. And it's because of a cycle where the environment triggers an existing belief, which triggers an emotion, which triggers a thought, which triggers your actions. So let's work backwards here. I think we can agree it's literally impossible to take an action without first having the thought to do so. Even something as simple as picking up a pen. You might not say to yourself, I'm going to pick up this pen now, but somewhere in your mind, you're thinking about this pen. If you decide you want to go make content for your business, you're going to consciously think, I'm going to record content. But that thought was simply the result of an emotion. An emotion does not have to mean something intense. I doubt you're going to feel excited or stressed out about picking out a pen, but maybe you will. Some emotion causes you to have whatever thought that you have. And if the emotion you have is stress, you might be tempted to go work for 16 hours straight just so that you feel like you're being productive. But if the emotion you feel is calmness, you could feel equally productive doing 16 minutes of work as you do for 16 hours of work. And that's where the existing beliefs come in. Someone who has an existing belief, I need to work more to be productive, only feels a sense of self-worth if they crank out as many hours as they possibly can. And this is the key. Something in the environment brings out this trigger for this person. Maybe they see an Instagram video of Gary Vee. Maybe one of their competitors just beat them in subscribers, or maybe their dad just texted them asking why they're not making more money. So in response to this emotion, thoughts flood in, like, if I go work on my business, then I won't be considered lazy. I need to go make as much money as I can, and I need to make sure that I succeed. When you build a business on the foundation of these thoughts, you're not doing it rationally anymore. You're simply trying to fulfill an emotional need. And instead of moving towards success, you're just trying to avoid failure. Two very different things. And you take actions that won't actually get you where you want to go because those are the only thoughts you're able to have. But someone who has the belief, I'm already enough, doesn't even need to work for 30 seconds to feel better about themselves. And no matter how many videos they see of Gary Vee, they will still feel completely calm and full about themselves. Their thoughts will be much more aligned and much more healthy with what they want. And instead of building a business to feel better, they're just doing it because they want to. They don't have any emotional ties to it. And because of that, they can think rationally, they can make creative decisions, and it's easy for them. And this results in them making way more money and having a lot more fun while they're doing it. You don't need to change anything in the environment. You need to change your beliefs about yourself. Because honestly, changing the environment is not enough. People try to just avoid the things that trigger them. They might mute Gary Vee on Instagram. They might block out other competitors or ignore their dad's texts. But the problem with this is that the emotion still lives inside of them. No matter how much you try and avoid your triggers, as long as this belief is still being held in place, there will always be something else to trigger you. Now, there are two beautiful things about changing a negative held belief like this. One, you will feel so much better about your life and about the environment. But two, the environment will respond better to you and you'll start getting the things you want. Let's say right now you have the belief, I don't make enough money. Think about all the different emotions and thoughts that this very belief triggers on a daily basis. You might get worried just from swiping your credit card. You might avoid going out with your friends so that you can avoid spending money. And you might feel insecure when someone asks how much money you make. But imagine that even if the money that you were making stayed exactly the same, imagine you changed that belief to, I make more than enough money. Suddenly, none of these things would even occur to you. You could swipe your credit card as much as you wanted without even thinking about it because you know on a deep subconscious level, you have more than enough money. On top of that, think about the way someone who believes I don't have enough money approaches their business versus someone who believes I make more than enough money. The second person is going to be guaranteed to make more money simply because they have automatic thoughts that lead to actions which produce the effects of this very belief. And this is the exact point you will get to by changing your beliefs to reflect the reality that you actually want. There are no truths in reality other than what the subconscious mind accepts as true. You need to stop waiting for reality to prove things to you. If you keep waiting for reality to change before you adopt a new belief, you're going to stay stuck in the same cycle for the rest of your life. And you might be saying to yourself, but it's not about my belief. I'm just really not making enough money. Yes, you are. But you believe you aren't, so you're not. It really is incredible what happens when you shift a belief before shifting the external. I can't even put it into words. It's literally like you're entering a parallel universe. And the things that used to trigger you regarding a belief don't even enter your consciousness anymore. Now, it's not going to be this grand moment where you have this huge epiphany and you're like, oh my God, I feel so amazing. It's just going to feel normal to you, like you've always had the belief. So how do you change a belief that is so deep-rooted like this? The first thing to understand is that beliefs are completely biological, okay? They're not logical or intellectual. A belief is simply a thought coupled with a deep-rooted emotion that lies in the foundation of your brain. So we simply want to shift the emotion in that belief into one that contradicts it. The only reason you have a belief in the first place is because at one point in your life, something happens that proved the belief to you. Whatever it was for you, you simultaneously experienced an emotion that cemented it into your brain. So for a lot of people, it might be their parents yelling at them for wanting things. They ask for a new toy or a gift, and their parents scold them and say, money does not grow on trees. What's wrong with you? So now, whether they're aware of it or not, every time they think about money, their mind is just sending them back to that event of being yelled at by their parents. All you have to do is remove the emotional charge from whatever event that is for you. And the most effective way to do this is simply to experience an event that contradicts it. And the best part is, it doesn't even have to be real, because your subconscious mind does not know the difference between reality and imagination. If I ask you to imagine hugging your best friend or your favorite pet, you probably feel an emotion, right? Even though you know it's not true, as far as your subconscious mind is concerned, you genuinely just experienced hugging your pet or your friend, unless they're one and the same. Point is, you can do the same thing with money. However much money you want to make, just visualize a scene that indicates however you'd feel upon doing so. Maybe someone wants $50,000 a month. So one scene that might indicate it could just be their dad saying, holy shit, you made $50,000 this month? It's literally that simple, as long as you get this one piece of it right. Emotion. Emotion is so much more powerful than anything else. But if you genuinely experience the emotion of making the money you want, you will start to believe that you're actually making it. And now here's the best part, because you might be wondering, what do I care about the emotions? Why don't I just worry about actually making the money? The emotions aren't going to do anything for me, but that's the whole thing. As you experience this emotion more and more, your subconscious mind starts to accept it as real, and you'll automatically start being driven to do things and think things that make it so much easier to get there. So you're not going to feel this urgent need or stress to make money. You'll just feel like you've already done it which will naturally attract it into your life. If you want to work with me directly, click the link down below. I will help you identify and remove whatever is personally blocking you from making more money in your business. Whether that means figuring out which emotion you want or creating a visualization scene, whatever it is, you will inevitably start making more money when you pinpoint and remove your subconscious blocks. And that's exactly what I'll help you do if you click the link below right now.